Diba, my people, wash, poppin'. The Igbo Blondie is bringing Pop Kasa back to your screens with that perfect blend of entertainment and pop culture. Now, one of the people that are really restricting our airflow on the ground these days are lovers who have vowed to not allow single people breathe. You know, they have determined in themselves that it is their civic responsibility to suffocate the singles. And that's why our story today is bordering on marriage deal breakers. And of course, the H has a PSA that has been given to new generation parents. Now, my soon-to-be married guest and I are ready, so let's dive right in. Welcome to Pop Kasa. Welcome back to the show, my people. Now, earlier this week, I saw a story on Instagram that was generated from Twitter on a certain situation that happened during a wedding ceremony, and it legit left my mouth hanging ajar. Now, quite honestly, this one passed me, and that's why I have some committee members of the Suffocate the Single Association here on the show today. Now, I've got Nigerian content creator and pharmacist who has taken her precious time this week to really restrict our airflow. The single people on Instagram this week, we are done. We have Abel Bay in the house. Welcome, chief of the committee of getting married people. Hi, how are you doing? Hi with your ring, Abby. The Lord is watching you there. So we've also got Nigerian music maestro and digital banker Noel Adigwe, who this one we didn't used to hear what when it comes to love. We used to sit on WhatsApp. Ebu Bay is WhatsApp and Instagram. Noel's own is on the WhatsApp. How are you doing, Noel?
Very well, very well. Thank
very
you.
well.
Very well.
You say people are blushing, they just talk about love. You people are already blushing. We have not even started the show. You people are already blushing.
No. We will let the poor breathe.
You will let the poor. We are the poor. Wow. You are harsh there. You know when I say
I'm not letting anybody breathe.
Nobody is breathing.
Nobody.
Very wicked somebody. Now, before we even get right into the show, right? As we just see music maestro there. Music maestro. Can you just say Pop Kasa in like, you know the way they used to do it in opera? How people used to do it in opera singing? Can you sing Pop Kasa like that for us? Just do it. Don't waste our time.
Right now?
Yeah, right now. We don't have time.
Pop Kasa.
Oh, Jesus. Wow. Problem may be like bicycle. Please, let's get right into the tea because this wahala is really be like bicycle. The wahala that we're inside now. Now, I've seen on Twitter by Abdullah, right? There was Abdullah made a tweet about a story of a bride and groom that are getting married. I'm just going to summarize the entire tweet because it's quite long. The bride and groom are getting married and, you know, the entire food is finished. There's a couple that's coming from the mother-in-law's place. That's the husband's mother has a couple coming from a far distance and then they came late, food are finished. But they have to eat something because they're coming from a far distance. Now, the only food that is deserving that is left is the food that the bride has kept for her parents. And the mother-in-law decides to go and whisper to the bride, please, I have guests coming from far. Can we just give them small from your parents' food that you've kept? Bride hesitated and she said, no, they cannot take. She said it bluntly. The woman tried to beg again. The bride said no. So the woman decided to take plates and go and serve them by herself. She said that, okay, she's going to go and give her guests food by herself because why not? It's also her son's, wedding. And as she went to take the food, the bride came and collected the plate from her hand and poured the food back inside the cooler. That is how mother-in-law opened bride slap. Bride did not hesitate, gave mother-in-law back tower. So that's how they were opening each other. They opened each other's slap. Then they told the groom, this is what happened. He said, let him not cause a scene. And 2 days after the wedding, he filed for a divorce. They've been begging the matter since for 2 weeks now. Man say he's not going to do it again. The mother is also begging that, okay, we don't need to, do that. I'm the one that she hit, and I say I forgive her. You also forget so that we can move along. And the man said, no, he's done. Now, did the man act right? I mean, if you're in the man, what will be your action? Let's start with you. You are the man here.
No, okay.
Ladies. Okay, no, let's do ladies first.
Ladies first, okay, exactly.
Loretta, the man
Loretta, hold on first. And there's also the part that he says, if you are the lady, was your action towards the mother-in-law justified? Because
exactly.
she started the delivery of this stuff. So, if you are the lady, is the action justified? Would you say the action is justified?
From which action? From refusing to give her the food or slapping her?
Yeah, like your whole action, like, is not enough to divorce. Like, I refuse, she collected, she slapped me, I slap back.
I think she went too far by slapping the lady back. or even the mother-in-law slapping her at first,
Yeah.
like that's it's trash. You shouldn't have gotten to that extent. I mean, it's just food.
It's just food,
It's
right?
just food. I don't think food should have caused so much ruckus. Even if she said no, there could be ways that those things can be, sorted out. If my mom is at this wedding and then she's maybe my mother that I kept the food for, she wouldn't mind giving out the food for strangers to eat.
Yeah,
that's my mom.
I get that. So as a man, would you say?
No, sorry. So let me ask a question.
Okay.
Okay. The lady, right?
Okay.
Her refusing to give the food to
her
mother-in-law, at the time, was that right or was that wrong?
I can't say it's wrong.
You
but
can't say
she
it's wrong.
reserves the food for her own parents. So,
okay.
So,
and she wants to give it to a guest that came late.
Okay.
So you are getting the late.
The lateness.
You're getting based on
lateness. And then the food was reserved for people too. You know when you reserve food in weddings, it's always difficult to replace it back when it goes.
Okay.
So in that instance, I understand her first answer being no. But after much play, she would have divided it into two and sort it out.
Exactly.
Later.
So because it was not everything she was meant to give to
her,
people.
exactly.
Yeah. So there is that one, and I mean, I was thinking she was even going to probably for example, she's going to talk to her mother and be like, "Oh, mama, that this
exactly what I said. That okay, see, my mother-in-law wants to give this to."
Yeah, but real quick, right? Before we move to the next question now, would you say the man was right to go all the way to divorce?
So about that, my gender.
Your gender, dear.
Okay, yeah. So why, for me, right? This is how I'd say it. That the lady could hoard the food. It got to the point where she slapped the mom. Mom slapped her, and she responded back.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Take it or leave it. The man must have seen this character in his woman prior to the marriage.
Don't say in his woman. Because it's the mother that slapped. Because it depends on how much your mom respects me for her to raise her hands on me. My fiance's mom will not do that, no matter how much I offend her.
God, please, before we go, we are about to go into the battle of the fiancés. Let's go to the next question. Okay. Now, according to Jeremiah Detundi on Twitter, those who came late to an event should not expect to be served the best portion of the event food.
You came
they
late.
should thank their stars for meeting remnants.
Thank you.
Having said that, both the mother-in-law and the bride were faulty in the way and manner they both mismanaged the situation. It appears they both had max beef for each other and they only saw the chance to explode on each other.
Exactly, there was an underlying issue.
Let the husband continue with his divorce process, especially since the incident had led to she slapped me, I slapped her back, and the mutual respect is punctured forever. So who are we going to blame? Are we going to blame the people that came late, the mother that slapped, the bride that slapped back, or the husband that's ready to get a divorce?
Everybody's going to collect their
I'll
fair
blame
share.
the
Everybody's
husband.
collecting.
No, everybody's going to get their fair share.
Okay.
First of all, mother-in-law decided to slap on her wedding day.
I mean,
I
was the one that acted like
I understand that fact.
Yes.
Do you understand? Mother-in-law decided to slap on her wedding day.
She shouldn't have slapped back.
And then bride responded back.
with another slap.
On her wedding day.
She's hot.
Husband didn't say, now let's see another part. Husband didn't say anything, waited 2 weeks.
No, he did 2 days later. So, like,
Okay,
they've been
2 days
battling this for
later.
2 weeks now. But 2 days later, he filed the divorce immediately.
Divorce. Come on now.
That means I feel like there's an underlying beef between both the mother and
This was just the deal breaker.
Exactly.
This was the deal breaker.
And
yes.
it also boils down to show that probably the man has probably the managing, maybe the mother does not like the lady.
Yeah.
And then he was trying to go ahead and marry her.
Exactly. That was what I said earlier on. I said
understand?
he must have noticed this attitude in his
Between
wife
Before.
and the
and
mother.
the mom prior to
Exactly.
now.
Not-
So
it's
this
not-
was just like you've been sweeping it under the carpet.
It was
sweeping
the
under
end. And it has to get to wedding day
And
before we get there.
also before that, there is also a thing I always tell my friends. The way a man treats you in front of his family matters on how they will respect you.
Okay.
If the man is always saying things about you, or when they are saying things about you, he stands and entertains those thoughts, all those talks around about you, then they'll know that they have the right to, treat you, slap you, do anything to you, because they know that their son will always back them up. But if there's a way whereby there's some things that you can't say about him in his presence, you dare not. Like, you won't even have the mind to say. When you want to say, you first of all tell him sorry. You will try to, appease your words, make it fine-tune it, calm it down, so he doesn't get upset. So if prior to this, they have been saying things about his proposed wife-to-be in his presence, they will say, this is your wife, she's mannerless. Oh, this is your wife, she's rude. This is your wife, and he's entertaining them. There's a way someone will see me and I'll be like, I'm a very audacious person. You know me. I'm very audacious sometimes. And my fiancé is Yoruba and Igbo. Obviously, they expect me to kneel down and greet because it's not part of my culture. So when those things happen or when they bring it up as a sign of disrespect to them, I expect him to tell them that it's not exactly. It's not
so there is one part for him to tell them,
yes,
but there is another part for you to also at least try from time to time.
I hug them.
Okay, let's get to the next one now. Let's get to the next one. Elizabeth the First tweeted, 1, a bride shouldn't necessarily be judged based on the day's behavior. 2, people shouldn't be slapping anyone at a wedding ever. And 3, he should have waited to see if that's how she always acted, if maybe it was just the wedding day stress. Now, I do agree with her number 2. However, should we excuse the bride's behavior to the stress that happened that day? And should the groom have, just not gone over to like divorce? Let me hear from you, Noel, and then we get. You said divorce is still necessary?
No. It's
too extreme. Okay, let me hear from you, Noel.
Okay, first off, from the background story, that means, so they said the bride was the one that kept the food.
Yes.
Doesn't she have a wedding planner?
She said they should keep food on the side for her parents.
She would have told her, so the wedding planner would definitely know what to do in that aspect.
Yes.
Then, on her wedding day, nothing should concern her with the food.
The food, whether it's going or it's not going,
you understand?
Right?
It's her wedding day. Auntie, just focus on keeping that beauty for that man. Okay. Focus on slaying. Do you understand?
Ebube did not agree.
It's a one in
Ebube, does he agree?
Many weddings.
Like a wedding that your friends is the one getting married. Very close friend is the one. You're not part of the people in the audience eating because people are a problem. You should calm down. Okay, no, this is the last one before we go on a break now. Choma on Twitter said, father-in-law know they slap son-in-law. Every time it's always the wife versus the mother-in-law.
Oh my God.
Quite honestly, I do have the same question because why don't we ever hear such scenarios from the men? Are we truly the problem? I mean, I want to ask Noel this question. Why do you think that these situations rarely apply to the father-in-law and the husband? I mean, you're about to get married very soon. Does this apply to you guys as well?
So for guys,
as quickly as possible because we're about to go on a break now.
For men, there's a way we go about sorting out things like this. Yeah. Do you understand? Even with eye contact, even with we can excuse each other to the side and then we resolve it. Do you understand? But the woman, so the mother is standing on the fact that it is my son. The wife is standing on the fact that I am now marrying him.
Okay.
He's now my husband.
There is a drag.
There's an entitlement somewhere.
Okay.
You understand? That's all I see there. But for men, we just know how to resolve it.
In one word, are we the problem?
Yes.
He said, okay.
I'm a feminist.
Very feminist. I personally would say that we women generally, whether mother-in-law or wife, need to operate in wisdom. I mean, the sour tale of the mother-in-law versus daughter-in-law has gone on for just too long. And at this point, I say therapy for all women, all of us put together, therapy. Before we go on a quick break, I will leave you with this video from Skooky that is kind of like giving us a background on what we should look out for. Let's check it out.
You should never ever compare your wife's food to your mother's food. Maybe the way you cook this soup, I think my mother does it like this. No, as a matter of fact, go and learn how your mother did it. And then you can also suggest that, why don't you try this? But don't say it's from your mother that you heard it. Number 2, never let your wife see that you favor your mother's opinion over hers. Never. You can take your mother's opinion, but don't let your wife see that that suggestion is coming directly from your mother. Did your mother allow it in her own marriage? And you, the wife, never be on a direct collision course with your mother-in-law. Don't put your husband in a position where you want him to choose between his mother and you. You have to master your skills of manipulation and persuasion. It's not everything that you'll be fighting with your chest out. Law 3 from 48 Laws of Power says conceal your intentions. Move like this, but it's a lie. This is where you're going. Your mother does not need to see you coming. Is everything not with energy, bish, bish, bish. Then law 22 from Portfolio of Power again says use the surrender tactic. Surrender here is a strategy. It's not that that's what you are. Mommy, Kasa. Mommy, Erora. Mommy, this. Fake it for her. Even though inside you're like, but you know what you're doing. You have to be diplomatic. Now, for the man, you are in between two women. Feminine energy, you get as they do their own thing. Don't underestimate their tactics.
Welcome back to the show, my people. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're doing a deep dive into the marriage deal breakers. And as you heard from Skookie before we went on a break, those last, love a woman the way she will understand. Okay, so now while we're going into that deal breakers topic, somebody on Twitter made the post, 5 things that you should not put up with, when it comes to deal breakers in a relationship. Mr. and Mrs. tweeted that. She tweeted, the first thing she said, infidelity is probably at the top of many people's list of definite deal breakers. Says 2, abuse is very common and is a growing factor in divorce today. 3, drinking. They said meddling in in-laws, selfishness, disrespect. I mean, is it just me? This list is up to 6, even though she says 5. But anyways, that's not the point. So my guess, you're literally ready to walk down the aisle with the loves of your lives. And I'm pretty sure that by now you've weighed many options as regards whether or not you're ready to do this for life. So what are some of those deal breakers that you had in mind before now that you knew that, okay, if you're going to do this for life, these things had to have been sorted out? What are some of those deal breakers that you had to go through, to walk through, to make sure that, okay, all of these are sorted? If this is going to happen, all of this is sorted. You see, people are already doing you start first. You know what? Ladies first, my dear. And we got to be quick because we know we have little time to go, so we got to be quick. Ladies first, as quick as possible. 2, maybe 1 deal breaker or 2. That you said, okay, these are the things you had to make sure that it was not there, and you know that it's not there, and that's why you're moving on. Why you are taking?
A proper deal breaker for me has to be abuse.
Abuse.
It doesn't have to be physical abuse.
Okay.
It can be emotional.
Any type of abuse at all.
Yeah, any type of abuse at all.
Okay.
It's a huge breaker for me. And then infidelity too. Yes.
Okay.
I take that.
I see you.
Very seriously.
Very serious. Okay, Noel, let me hear you.
Yeah, so
quickly.
So infidelity is always a deal breaker for every young couple.
Yeah.
And the aspect of abuse you mentioned, not just abuse. I mean, let me use the word dishonest in general.
Okay.
Do you understand? When the lady is not ready to acknowledge you as the man.
Yeah.
Do you understand? You always, several
eyes are squint. Eyes have squint.
She'll be all right.
It will be eyes have squint.
I've seen severally. I've seen a time where it looks like it's a struggle of who's going to be the head of the home.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It doesn't necessarily mean him being the head of the home means he's going to oppress you or suppress you with his manly nature and all of that.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Just give to Caesar what belongs
to Caesar. Okay, I get you. Now, Gary on Twitter wrote, he asked of my deal breakers in marriage, and I told him raping anyone, cheating, and any form of abuse. He said I was willing to end my marriage because of trivial things. I went home and told God, even if you say yes, I'm saying no to this one. So, good thing God didn't say that that's the one, right? So are there any deal breakers that you've heard, from anybody, and you think personally that is not serious enough to be a deal breaker for an entire, like you've heard people say, okay, this is my deal breaker, but like it's not that serious. This is something you can actually tolerate. Are there any instances like that? Snoring.
Yes.
Is it a deal breaker for you or is not?
It was a deal breaker for a friend of mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
He couldn't cope. We tried as much as we could to tell him that.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad, exactly.
I don't know if mine is trivial, but men that can cook and they have this audacity and entitlement to women that can cook.
Ibube, calm down. If you people are about to fight here, hold on. Now, Secret on Twitter wrote,
cooking is not the problem. It's the entitlement.
Okay, hold on, calm down a little bit. Now, Secret on Twitter said, as a man, you better be ruthless when picking a woman. No major compromises because a woman won't hesitate to do the same to you. Now, Dual, I want to ask you, is this right? Just as quick as possible. We need to know quickly because we need to move on from this now.
Okay,
is
so
it right?
I'll come from this line. I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
So in picking a woman,
yeah,
I'll go with the way of the Lord. I'll pray about it.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. So which means be ruthless. Choose it. If she's not in it, you're not doing.
If the Lord says she's not the one.
Are you ruthless with your own choices too?
Of course.
Okay, I like that. I like that. We need to move on with this love bandwagon because if we continue this thing, a whole week conversation on its own, it's just a whole lot. You people will do love, you will finish us. We will go on a quick break because you know what? Let me just ask you the itch because we might not be able to go, that back and forth. Now the itch is saying that we don't have time for big names when it comes to this new generation. Are you agreeing with it? Maybe giving
our child
strong names, all those names that maybe you wake up and your 5 months baby's name is Bosse or Ogedengbe.
Oh my God.
Those type of names. They say new generation mothers, I beseech thee, let some names end with the old generation. There's no reason for you to introduce your 5 months baby as Bosse. Please, I'm begging. Somebody said, my auntie wanted to name my child Jimo. A 2-month-old baby is being named like Jimo. As an Igbo person, what are those names that you don't want to hear? With your beautiful little baby.
Pious.
I would say Godwin. Goddy. You say Goddy. God is De Goddy. I have an uncle that's called De Goddy. That is a serious
Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunny.
Sunday. Okay. I'm telling you. I mean, the internet really did bring us a whole lot of excitement this week. Less violence, and I'm always here for that. Please let's keep that energy this new week. Just maintain the peace and calm. I love that. Nibe, my people, don't forget to be safe out there, and most importantly, be kinder with your words on the internet. Until I see you next week, Yagazeri Guitar, have a nice day.